Special thanks to NSX of YouTube for providing today's music. ¡Órale, mi raza! The following podcast has been scheduled for one fall. Introducing first, from the mean streets of the Utah Beehive State, he is the voice of Talking Kayfabe. Here is Jordan Bear. Introducing his special guest podcast partner from Spinebuster Sports. He is Kyle Poundcake. Oh, orale, man. It is a special day. I know I usually kick this off saying a bunch of different stuff or whatever, but welcome everybody to Talking Kayfabe, greatest wrestling podcast that you all have never, ever heard. I'm your host, Jordan Bear. This is my special guest podcast partner, Poundcake, man. How are you today?
I'm doing great, sir. How are you?
Oh, man, it's been a week. It's been a week to say the least, but are you excited for today? Because as you know, today is a very special day because it is the birthday of the late, great Eddie Guerrero. I was going to say, yeah.
I am so excited to talk about this match today because we're talking about probably the greatest match that ever happened in WCW, not called War Games.
Of course, man. We're going to be talking today in honor of Eddie's birthday today. We're going to be watching, and of course, it being October, Spooktober, we're going to be watching a Halloween Havoc, but we were talking about this way before about what we were going to do for Halloween Havoc. And I was like, you know what, since it's Eddie's birthday, and this is probably one of the top, this is like one of the top 5, if not the top 3 WCW wrestling matches out there.
Definitely top 3, but it's the greatest singles match, I think, in WCW history. Like the only matches for me that come close to it are some DDP, Macho Man Randy Savage matches, which coincidentally are happening in the same time period.
Of course, any of my top favorite matches are anything to do with the greatest WCW World Heavyweight Champion of all time, David Arquette.
Oh, of course. You know, the Triple Tower of Terror.
Oh, man. One of the greatest matches pro wrestling history. David Arquette, anything. Come on.
Dude, I mean, you know, and Vince Russo, let's not forget when Vince Russo won the championship, like the most underrated heavyweight champion of all time.
Absolutely. I think the person that comes in a close second, though, has to be the greatest ECW champion of all time. Of course, I'm talking about Vince McMahon. Anyway.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. You know, and I mean, it's hard to argue with that one. Like, but Vince, I think you put Vince McMahon, Vince Russo, and David Arquette like in the late 90s in a steel cage. I think McMahon comes out on top.
Come on. That right there, to a throwback, that right there is your wrestling Mount Rushmore right there. Yeah. Oh, man. So before we kick off this watch along, of course, again, spoilers, this is a watch along episode, a WWA, if you will. And we're going to be watching WCW Halloween Havoc 1997. But before we do that, though, man, what's your memories of Eddie, bro?
Dude, I'm trying to really think. I remember getting so immersed in professional wrestling when I first got into it, of like getting the PWI magazine, the Pro Wrestling Illustrated magazines at the end of 96, and seeing that, you know, my favorite guy, Shawn Michaels, the only person that anybody was talking about that was on the same caliber as him at that time in 96, 97 was Eddie Guerrero. And having just massive respect for him and his career. Like, the guy performed at the top of, like, pretty much at the top level the entire time he made his way in onto US TV. I mean, you go all the way back to 1994 for the Worlds Collide pay-per-view, the AAA Worlds Collide pay-per-view, and him and his tag team partner at the time, Art Barr, put on the first non-WWF or NWA 5-star match it in the US at that point in time. And that wrestling acumen just carried over to WCW, putting that cruiserweight division to, you know, create a more athletic style of wrestling. And he always just carried the weight and was, you know, did great when he was in the ring against anybody.
I loved it because it's funny because my memory of Eddie, I didn't, you know, as far as like my WCW memory goes, I retain here and there stuff, but I do have a vague recollection of Eddie in the WCW era. But mine was, you know, the Los Guerreros. It was the, you know, when he was on SmackDown and all that stuff. Since I missed all the Eddie China stuff.
That's the stuff I probably remember the most is the Eddie China stuff.
One of the great, you know, that was probably some of his top stuff that he did back in that time too. Even up to date too. That was just entertaining. It was Eddie being Eddie. You know, of course, we all know Eddie being lie, cheat, and steal. That was his final run and stuff like that. But no, I was excited to watch this because I had always heard of a lot of Eddie's matches, and I've never really gotten a chance to sit back and watch any of them. Of course, Eddie coming from the Gory Guerrero family and stuff like that. So very legendary, a legacy act, if you will.
Oh yeah, for sure. And just this match is just bonkers. Like, we'll get into it, but like it starts off hot and heavy and just keeps going. And you know, that was kind of the way Eddie was throughout his career, was just like, you know, pushing it to the max. Like, it's funny with you say the lie, cheat, and steal stuff, because I very much remember that WrestleMania moment where he unties his boot against Kurt Angle and uses that to win the match in a very creative manner. And, it's you know, lost him too soon. There's so much more I think he would have done in this business, and he would still probably be involved in this business if he was still around, whether it would be backstage or whatnot. I think we missed out on a potential Guerrero Shawn Michaels match that I think was going to happen at WrestleMania, which probably would have blown the roof off the place. And you know, you hate to lose anybody that early on in their life, especially someone that has a family and you know, kids and a wife and whatnot. But you know, sorely missed, you know, but still his legacy lives on, because we'll go back and, you know, it is 25 years later, and we're going back and talking about a match that people still talk about to this day.
Yeah. It's boy, I'm never going to forget when we did lose him and everything. It was a lot for me, especially being as young as I was. But like you said, his legacy lives on through both, you know, not only the Guerrero name, but you know, of course, Vicky would come in later on to be probably the one of the greatest SmackDown general managers of all time. You know, you had Vicky. You also have his daughter coming around somewhere is it in the independents at this point? Or
I know she was in NXT when they got off the game show NXT and actually started it like at Full Sail. She was on there, but I know that was very early on, and she had been released since then. So I'm guessing, yeah, she's in the independents. I want to say maybe she was in MLW at one point, but there was something I was watching the beginning, those first NXT episodes, not that long ago, and I always get dove in on Wikipedia looking up random pro wrestlers.
I love it. Sort of a fantasy thing if you think about it. If we had, because of course Sasha Banks always credits and cites Eddie for being a huge inspiration. What if down the road somewhere we see Eddie's daughter and Sasha Banks tie together? Who knows? Fantasy, something to think about. So
it's a great thing about pro wrestling is all the what ifs that we could talk about.
Oh, absolutely. It's kind of what this show is always predicated on. It's predicated on a lot of things about like what we can talk about as far as, what ifs. We talk about our favorite memories. This is like I said, this has always been a Smart Mark podcast for the Smart Mark Nation. Of course, it's always a fun aspect to talk about. So, but anyway, without further ado, you ready to do this, man?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. So, of course, you guys can pull this up on Peacock. Look up Halloween Havoc 1997, and if you want to go ahead and skip all the way, I think the minute marker is 29:27 is right before the match starts. Of course, you were saying you guys can also find this on YouTube as well. So
yeah, it's free on YouTube, full match. Yeah, it pops up right as I believe the ref's taking the belt and they start out hot and heavy. So
okay, well, I'm going to start right here, right as the entrance goes. So, of course, you've already watched this back, so have a little bit of this. So, whenever you're ready, man.
Are you on Peacock?
Yeah, I'm on Peacock right now.
Okay, go ahead and start, and then let me know when they're both in the ring, and I'll start my end.
Gotcha. Oh, look at this set. This Halloween Havoc set is really awesome.
Dude, I always loved it. And I almost think they left it in Vegas because at this point in time, they were doing this show from Vegas almost every single year. I feel like in 95, they did it in Detroit, and then it was just Las Vegas after that.
Yeah, look at this is Eddie. Eddie at his prime. Look at this.
Dude, he looks ripped, so great. I love the heel Eddie Guerrero.
Mm-hmm. Of course, doing the classic sling over the shoulder title thing, which is always fun because you go back and listen to all the veterans in the business. There were always talking about how they didn't like that aspect of wrestlers that did that. They were like, you need to wear it. You need to wear it. Of course, Eddie was one of the guys that was like, no, I'm gonna do what I want with it.
Right.
Oh, so Ray's already in the ring right now. I love that outfit. Ray's always been extremely creative as far as his outfits and everything like that. Oh, Ray just gave his outer mask to a kid doing the whole Bret Hart thing.
Oh yeah. I love this outfit because the whole lead up to this match was Guerrero stealing Ray's mask, like he stole it during a match on Nitro against Dean Malenko.
Okay, so sorry.
Nope, you're good.
But we're about to start. The bell just rang, and there they go.
Yep, yeah, Guerrero ran in during a match that Ray had with Dean Malenko and stole his mask, and which caused Ray to lose the match, which made this a mask versus championship match. And the outfit that Ray is wearing based off the Phantom, that mask is sewn into that outfit.
Yeah, they talk about that in commentary. Oh my God, this is lucha libre style wrestling at its best. Of course, Eric Bischoff credited for bringing the luchador style wrestlers into the U.S. territory.
And one thing, like doing the research on this match followed two other cruiserweight matches. Like this is the third match on the card, and it was Yuji Nagata versus Ultimo Dragon, and then Edo versus Chris Jericho. And these guys had to do something a little bit different when they got into this one because of the athleticism that's already been shown so far. On the outside, throwing him right into the stairs. I just love like Eddie.
Classic Eddie.
Just
vintage Eddie.
Yeah, vintage. Just playing the heel wrestler so fantastic.
They do such an amazing job during this. They tell a great story in this, and that's you credit these two of being some of not just the top luchador wrestlers, but I mean just wrestlers in general, just overall, not in general.
Well, and both these guys at this point in time, like they're both so young, but Eddie's got over 10 years experience at this point in time, and Ray is I believe he's at around 8 years experience, and Ray's only in his early 20s. Like I think he started wrestling at like somewhere 14, 15, 16. Like, it's crazy to think
Whoa.
about. What a great drop kick. Nice reversal.
No, I think I'm a little bit ahead of you. I'm gonna,
I was
but
thinking.
good, keep going. I'm gonna pause for a second. Okay, setting up for suplexes.
Mhm.
It's so weird to watch him and not watch the Three Amigos.
Right.
Cover for two.
Nice lateral press.
Those backbreakers always look like.
And he hits a couple in this match that just look absolutely just wonderful. That Eddie always did a spectacular tilt-a-whirl backbreaker too.
Oh, he's already pulling at that mask. Pulling at the mask.
Dude, and that's the thing. Like we said, the story they told in this match, almost like the story Eddie called this entire match in the ring, like, and
whoa,
obviously just it almost is if Eddie trying to get the mask off Ray, like, takes over the entire match rather than him trying to win the match and stay the champion.
Damn.
Nice abdominal stretch. And Eddie just looking so ripped. Like, it's one thing I took from this match was just how great Eddie Guerrero looks in this entire match.
I don't really remember a time when he didn't. He was always he always had a really good physical presence. So,
mm-hmm.
and a backbreaker again.
Beautiful pump handle backbreaker.
Oh, look at this.
And just great selling, better selling by Ray than any main eventer in WCW at the time too. This is like one of those random mid-90s things, like, oh, I'm just gonna press him into the mat and that's what's gonna win it for me.
Well, I mean, if you go back to the fundamentals of actual wrestling itself, it is pinning your opponent to the ground. So
yeah,
not too far. Ooh.
Well, and it just leads to this next great.
Whoa! Yeah. Whoa! What a nice DDT.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful.
I remember these guys wearing bow tie. The rest wearing bow ties. Ooh, beautiful drop kick to the outside. No, what's he gonna do? Whoa! Springboard. Oh man!
Just
so good.
Great sequence. We're still so early on in this yet.
Yeah, this is one of those long matches.
Here comes a spot that just looks treacherous as well.
Oof, man. Oh,
I know it makes it
that barricade. There's no padding on those either.
Mm-mm.
Nope. It's camel clutch.
And Eddie just going back to the mask.
Just, he's ripping. Wow. Mm-hmm. It was interesting because if you go back and listen to Eric Bischoff talking about the whole masked luchador wrestlers, like his whole thing was talking about taking the masks off of them, which goes against the grain on every level, just because they're synonymous with their masks. That's a whole thing for them.
Yeah, and I mean, I did watching a video that was like the lead up to this match earlier. They just talked about how a lot of the times in the luchador with luchador wrestling that you become like what your mask is. It really defines who you are as a character. And nice gory special by Eddie, and just how it comes from like the Aztec culture, the good and evil, And a lot of times when a wrestler loses their mask, they could change their whole career. Like there's a small amount of instances where luchador loses their mask and they actually get more famous because of it. And I believe they said in the commentary while watching this was like the ninth time that Rey Mysterio had put his mask on the line. Ooh. And he had obviously won the previous 8. But yeah, it's just one of those things. It was like I almost akin it to in the 70s and 80s, the American hair matches where the guys were putting their hair on the line, even though it seems way more ridiculous when we're talking about it. But I was trying to think like in the US, what would be the equivalent to a mask match, and that's the closest thing I could come up with. So
yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, even a retirement, retirement match, or a last career versus whatever match, like you said that this was their whole career. My God, that just holy hell, that looked like it hurt. Oh, Eddie using the rope right in front of the referee too.
Yeah, no, I loved it. That's another one of those things in this match that just like randomly like stuck out to me. And I was like, man, like anything right now. This is lie, cheat, and steal before he was lie.
Oh, beautiful chops.
Yeah.
Little fight back there. Oh, nice reversal in the corner. Ray's hammering away on him. Woo!
Oh man.
Oh, hung up on the tree.
The tree of woe.
That devious smile from Eddie Guerrero.
Vintage Eddie, like we've said so many times in
this. Yeah, to steal a Michael Cole euphemism.
Oh, yeah, right.
Caught up there.
And nice dive to the outside by Ray.
Ray looks winded.
He had to have been so nervous. I mean, at this point, Ray had won the Cruiserweight Championship one time. He was going for his second reign with it if he wins this match. And Eddie had went from being the U.S. champion and being this good guy who wore the sequins jacket to the ring in late '95, early '96 to nice Hurricane to turning and being this bad guy, and I still stand with like nobody really makes it until you've made it as a bad guy in wrestling. Like you can come in and be the holiest good guy there ever was, and John Cena did make it as a bad guy before he turned good, but
yeah,
I think it was a lot of the issue with Roman when he first came in, is they just wanted Roman to be the man.
Whoa,
nice head scissors to the outside.
That looked like almost like a sort of a precursor to a 619.
Mm-hmm. That's why I was thinking, man, me and you focusing on the same things. Then Tom Hurricane Rana.
Oh, nice to the outside.
You guys are just doing a great job in this. Like we talked about with the 2 matches that came before it also being cruiserweight matches, these guys did enough to like change it up, but keep the action coming so high. And it's why it's regarded like so highly regarded as one of the best matches in WCW history. The Phoenix headbutt, it maybe.
Oh man! Either way, they're just selling hard.
Yeah.
Back to what you were talking about real quick before I cut you off, Matt. The whole Roman Reigns thing. I think that the problem is that Roman is what they all refer to as a Vince guy. We all knew that. Everybody knew that. But even when the Shield first debuted in his NXT days, we all knew Roman was going to be something. He was going to be someone. Oh, nice reversal.
Yeah.
And I think that it was, we all knew that,
Power bomb.
whew, that kick out.
No, and everyone knew because of Roman's lineage, and he was going to be the next guy. It was just the way they did it. Like they put Roman over as a good guy over some, guys. And it's funny because, at that point in time, everybody was complaining about how WWF only puts over guys from 20 years ago. They don't, invest in the new talent, and they were investing so much in Roman, but nobody wanted at the point. A lot of people didn't want anything to do with it. But now, look, I mean, you're looking right now on SmackDown of them putting the seeds of what's going to be like one of the next great feuds. I think just how this whole Sami Zayn, Jimmy Uso, Roman Reigns things shakes out.
Look at this.
Nice, another backbreaker.
God.
Just working that back.
And I think ultimately the problem with trying to make a guy like Roman a face in that way is same. It's the same problem. Oh, reversal on that. Oh, look like he tweaked his knee a little bit on that one. Right to the outside. Oh man.
Bring him up.
No, looks like he's setting up for a back super. Oh,
Ray's fighting back. It's elbow.
oof. Now you gotta imagine this is precarious. This is scary to be out there,
right? And like, look at this.
Ooh. Whoa!
Top rope Rana for the win.
New champion. Now I forget. Was Ray? Was he junior still at this point?
Okay. Yeah, he was still junior at this point. His uncle was the original Rey Mysterio. They mentioned in this match that he wrestled as Hummingbird. I can't remember what the name was, but it was the Hummingbird.
Yeah,
in Mexico before he became Mysterio.
Oh, sore loser.
Well, and these guys end up having 2 more matches after this. Ray drops the belt 2 weeks later to Guerrero on Nitro, and then they face off again at World War III the next month, the pay-per-view with the 60-man battle royal for WCW, but never quite get the magic that they got in this match. Not until years later when they were, fighting over Dominic and whatnot.
Oh man, the I'm Your Poppy stuff. Which again, if you really think about it, everybody was talking about that when my best friend and I, we talked about that, was like, yo, when are they gonna put Dom? When are they gonna let Dominic, separate from his dad? I get why they kept him with him, and I get that was a beautiful introduction, but it would have been on the same level of keeping Rick. It would be Rick and Charlotte in the same thing. Rick did an amazing job at being her manager, and helped her become her own star, but I just feel like the whole Mysterio son and dad thing, it went about as far as it could, but I think it went a little too far. I think it went past its expiration date, but that's just me.
Yeah, and I tend to agree. I thought I thought Dominic was way younger than what he is, because I looked it up after we had talked about it at some point on here, or I talked about it on my show, and he's 25. But it's funny because they're like, he looks like that Eddie Guerrero-esque character and like that attitude, and they're protecting him right now with Judgment Day really well. Like, it'll be interesting because you got to imagine at some point in time he'll break through and be a big time champion at WWE. I mean, he's got more than enough time to get there. So
absolutely, and that's the thing too about it, is that looking at a guy like Dominic, it's so funny because I remember him being that young kid from the Eddie Ray feud, and it was beautiful. It was beautiful during that time period. I know that Vicky was. It's been a while since I've really caught up on the current product. Is Vicky still with AEW at this point?
I have not seen her. There's nothing that's like stood out to me currently. I can actually probably check this real quick. because I know she was at one point.
Yeah, I know
But
that she was running. She was bringing in some talent. She was managing and stuff like that. And but I'm just saying, what if?
she's still, I guess she's still currently signed to AEW and managing Nyla Rose, but
Hmm.
I can't. Maybe Nyla Rose. Yeah, I haven't seen. I don't have anything for her since last year, so maybe
Hmm.
not.
Well, I was gonna say, what if? I mean, this is just what if. What if you take that whole aspect of, you take this whole rivalry. Of course, Ray and Eddie go way back. As we just watched, they go way back, and that they incorporated Dominic into a storyline. Why not? Because everybody's already saying it. Like, no, it's not Dominic Mysterio. It's Dominic Guerrero.
Mhm.
What if you bring in, Vicky? What if you bring in Chavo? What if you bring in these people just
Oh
just to
God,
have so much fun being like, no, you were a Guerrero, whatever. I don't know.
I love WCW Chavo Guerrero.
Hmm.
Like it was some of the funniest stuff was with Chavo and WCW.
I'll have to go
Like
back and
in that
watch that.
time, in that like, after this 98, 99, after Eddie was gone, but like man, like just well in Chavo in WWF, just anytime you had Chavo and Eddie together, it
Mm.
was gold in my book. So
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I mean, hell, this has been fun, bro. Like, of course, like I said, we watched doing this watch along for Eddie. Of course, today being his birthday. I can't remember how old he would have been. Um, but gosh, what a legacy. Gone way too soon, in my opinion, anyway. I mean,
mhm.
in my opinion, that's everyone's opinion. But what was that? Oh,
Oh, nothing. I'm 55.
wow.
Yeah, Eddie would have
Wow,
been today.
55. Think about that now. There's a lot of wrestlers out there that are in their 40s, mid 40s and stuff like that are still running hard and heavy.
He, I mean, Ric Flair just had his last match, man, in the gosh darn 70s. Like, and like if Eddie and like we would assume that Eddie Guerrero stayed in great shape and all this stuff. Eddie Guerrero would still be going. He like, I mean, Shawn Michaels is got to be pushing that 60-year mark, and he had a match within like the last 5 years. Like I mean, we're talking Jericho and AJ Styles are both in their mid 40s. Like their Undertaker went until he was close to 50. Like there's no doubt that Guerrero would have had another 10 to 15 years of his career easily. Like
Absolutely, absolutely. And to think about him being part of that, I mean, Ray's still going. I don't know what the age difference between Eddie and Ray was, but I mean, you pack on this whole idea that that Eddie could still be moving. I mean, it's fun to ponder what he still would have been doing. You know what? In fact, we got some time. We might as well just give it a shot and see. I think that if Eddie was still around today, given a few years, he passed away in '06, and that would have been around the time if he had kept going. I mean, easily we could have watched more heel Eddie versus big match John stuff.
Eddie versus Punk,
Oh
uh,
man.
Eddie versus Seth Rollins, uh, potential like Eddie and Finn Balor. Like imagine just imagine what he could have done like after, like we're talking about just him in the ring. I think about more of the knowledge he could have brought after the fact, like in a place like NXT, like backstage, in WWE. Like who knows? Like maybe he would have been one of the guys that ran off to AEW and help AEW start out. Like it's so I just think he would still obviously be making an impact in this business
Absolutely. Well,
just off his knowledge.
I think that what you have here is that I don't know. It's one of those things that seems like luchador wrestling has been integrated. I also think that if he was still around, he would be at AAA. He would have been a big part of AAA and really helped push that envelope there too. So I mean, the possibilities are endless of what Guerrero could have done, but what he did and what it has lasted over till this far and is still talked about. He's still an influence, like like we mentioned in the beginning. Sasha Banks does it. His daughter's still out there. I mean, Dominic is sort of people still talk about Eddie in this way. So his effect on wrestling is long lasting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it like I said, it's been 25 years, and we're going back and watching a match from a WCW pay-per-view and talking about it, and that's right there. There's his impact right there.
Absolutely. Well, I think the next time we'll have to do. It is October, and we're still doing some. Maybe we might do a couple more Halloween watch-alongs and stuff like that. Let us know, guys. Let us know what you guys thought about this, and if you guys want us to do anything else, cover anything more, guys, because we're popping these out left and right. And I have a special Halloween episode set up. So
Ooh.
it's going to be another watch-along episode, but I think maybe I'll hold it there, man.
Yeah.
I'll save it.
Create the anticipation, if you will. What could it be, everyone? Stay tuned.
It's
all questions will be answered next week on Talking Kayfabe.
Ooh, using that. Well, before we get out of here, man, let's talk about Spinebuster Sports, bro. How you been doing over there, man?
Right now we're taking a little break. We're gonna, take some time, hang out with the family, and retool, figure out what we're gonna do next, and go from there. Like, just enjoying life, spending time with the daughter right now. Like I told you when I messaged you about it, like, I'm still gonna keep myself free as much as I can to do this show with you, because I very much enjoy talking pro wrestling, and it gives me a reason to you fire stuff at me, and I'm like, all right, let's do this. Like, give me a week, you fire a topic at me, give me some time, and I'm ready to rock. We just, the one thing with me and you, it's just working around both of our weird schedules. So
it's been a lot. It's been, but it's been fun. It's been fun to just jabber about wrestling and actually be able to, apply my knowledge, or at least my host knowledge anyway.
Yeah. And I just enjoy, like, I've got this weird knack for remembering the most random things in the world. And
somebody remembers that.
Yeah. And you give me a place to just unload it on everybody.
Oh man. Did you want to talk about your upcoming project that you've been doing, or are you
maybe next time we'll talk about the upcoming project, but everyone, just if you are one of my followers, just keep on the Spinebuster Sports page. We will be giving some updates here soon, and I will be, every time I'm on Talking Kayfabe, you will see it on the Spinebuster Sports page as well. And go follow my buddy Jordan over there, Talking Kayfabe, and I will be sharing that more, trying to push some more people over your way. And, check us out on YouTube. We got this sweet graphic. We're at the announcement test.
I'm hoping this works out well. I'm dealing with some technical difficulties over on this end, but hopefully it comes out through, and hopefully we get to we'll get to sit down and talk. Like I said, I know I've got a Halloween episode coming up, and who knows, guys, we might drop some bonus content. We've done a couple of things that are sitting on my archives right now, so there's some bonus stuff that I've got saved up. So who knows? So keep tuned, guys. What do you say we hook the leg and get out of here, man?
Yeah, let's cover.
Awesome. Talking Kayfabe is a Low Bear production. Huge shout out and special thanks again to NSX of YouTube for providing today's music. Also, don't forget to check us out on our Facebook to keep up to date on all of Talking Kayfabe action.